Hi, I'm Nathan from the Chicago Public Library's South Shore branch, and this is my mom, Holly.
Hi.
Today, we're going to be baking oatmeal apple muffins together. Yay! You won't believe this, folks, but people used to actually write recipes down on cards rather than in apps or on YouTube. Amazing. Why do I have such fond memories of you making muffins?
Well, I like to make breads that are quick, that are not yeast breads, because they take a lot longer. And when you were very little, you didn't like to eat breakfast until your stomach woke up, you said, and it took a while for that to happen. So I made these muffins, and I would hand you a muffin, and you would sit on this grate of the stove and eat your muffin, and then you would be ready to start the day.
So for this recipe, you will need 2/3 cup of milk of your choice, 1/3 cup of vegetable oil, 1 egg beaten, which you can use a whisk or a fork, 1/4 cup of honey, 1.5 cups of quick cooking or old-fashioned oats, aka oatmeal, 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of diced apple, 1/2 cup of nuts and raisins, if you like them, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, which of course you can substitute with regular white sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, which we think is too much, so we're going to cut it, 3/4 tablespoon of salt, which my mom always says, leave out the salt, 12 paper or aluminum muffin liners. If you have aluminum, they'll hold the batter together better. And a muffin pan. If you don't have a muffin pan, you can either double up your muffin liners using 24 on a regular baking sheet, or even easier, pour your muffin batter into a sheet pan that you line with parchment paper, and then you can cut it up at the end. And we've got our egg, which we are going to be beating with a fork like so.
Gently with a fork.
And why do you need to beat the egg, Mom?
Why do you need to beat it? Otherwise you would have lumps of egg white and yolk in your dough.
Gross. So we definitely want to beat it.
So now we're going to add the liquid ingredients. I've got the honey and the oil, and I'm going to pour that in here. If your honey is too thick, very slightly warm it so it's easier to mix.
12 seconds in the microwave if you need to get that honey nice and soft. 2/3 cup of the milk of your choice. We're using almond milk today.
You don't need a mixer at all for muffins because you don't have to beat them a lot. Just want to get the liquid ingredients, mix it together.
Okay, so we've measured out the dry ingredients. As you can see here, we've got our oatmeal, our brown sugar, our flour, and our baking soda.
Baking powder is, I'm going to measure it out here. But
okay. Put
all those dry ingredients in there.
So pouring it into the bowl.
Instead of a whole tablespoon of baking powder, I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. 1 tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. Brown sugar,
which is much more densely packed,
as you can see. Take your same fork
and mix it
up. Just be sure that you get the baking powder all mixed in there. Otherwise, when you're eating the muffin, you'll have a strong taste of soap.
Have I mixed it enough, Mom? What do you think?
That's fine.
So we've got our nuts measured out that we're going to add to the apple. So we're going to just sprinkle it over nicely into the bowl. And then do we stir that up?
Yeah, stir it up a little bit so that they're evenly distributed in there. And in terms of adding things, you can add raisins, you can add nuts, you can add apples, you can add a different fruit. I used to sometimes add pear.
Yeah, oh, your pear muffins were the best.
So the trickiest part about muffins is not to overmix them. If you overmix them, they get tougher and they're not so fluffy. So we can mix this as rough as you wanted to mix when you were doing just the wet ingredients just the dry ingredients. But when you're doing the muffins, you don't want to overmix. So you make a little nest inside your dry ingredients. So where that's, you're going to put the wet ingredients down inside that hole. Like that.
Now you've got this kind of...
So now it's ready. You can try a little bit with a fork. And
Okay. Just be
with
slow,
the over-under
gentle,
thing.
over, under.
Over and under. The idea is to moisten all the dry ingredients, but not go beyond that point.
So how do you know when you've moistened all the ingredients?
Because they'll look wet.
Okay.
You can do it, continue to do it with a fork, but sometimes a spatula
Kind of
is good for bringing
scoop down the edges there.
from the bottom and getting all the flour incorporated without.
Oh yeah, it's looking a lot better there. Mixing the dry with the
I'm
wet
gonna
ingredients.
flip it over and push down a little bit. It's almost, I think. Check over here about there's some flour in the bottom.
Oh yeah, lots of extra flour on the bottom. I'm gonna get that up there.
I think looks good.
Okay, so according to Mom, we now have a nice mixed dry and wet ingredient bowl.
Preheat your oven
So
to
400 degrees.
400 degrees. You want to fill up the muffin about 2/3 full, not all the way full, because then it will spill over.
Okay, so I'm gonna
As it
try
bakes.
doing it in this one. It's really kind of sticky and wet, but I can use the cup to push it down.
Or you could actually, sometimes I just use a spoon. Like
To kind of
that.
smooth it out. Okay, let me try a spoon instead of the cup.
Then you
Spoon.
might need to push it with your finger. But
Uh-oh, so make sure that you've washed your hands.
there you go.
Okay,
Well, looks good.
and one more. for
Tastes good too.
So now that our oven is at 400 degrees, we're going to open it up, take our muffin pan, which is not hot, but will be later, put it on the center rack, close it up, and somewhere between 12 and 18 minutes, we should have delicious muffins.
Now, there's one in the middle there. It should be bouncy as
Yep,
opposed.
yeah.
When it makes it done?
I think.
So if you have some kind of a rack to put them on so that they don't stay in the pans, otherwise you can just take them out of the pan, leaving them in the muffin paper so that they don't burn the bottom.
When you have these nice fluffy muffins, you don't want them to burn to your muffin papers.
What do you think?
The muffins are nice and bouncy. Got a little bit of the dough, the citrus of the apple, the crunch of the nuts. It's really nice. We hope you enjoyed cooking with us, or baking with us, in the kitchen today.
Hope you enjoy the recipe and share it with your moms.
Definitely share with your moms. You can see more recipes on our YouTube channel and our other social media accounts, U Media Chicago. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye.